ट्यूबरकुलोसिस जैसी बीमारी के खिलाफ सघन अभियान चलाकर इसे मिटाने के लिए संयुक्त राष्ट्र ने न्यूयॉर्क स्थित अपने मुख्यालय पर एक विश्व सम्मेलन किया है। इस सम्मेलन में 28 साल की नंदिता वेंकटेशन भारत से खास तौर से शामिल हुई, जो 2 बार टीबी के हमले का शिकार हो चुकी हैं और अब इसके खिलाफ जारी जंग की मजबूत आवाज हैं। GoNews की सहयोगी सुतपा देब ने यूएन मुख्यालय पर नंदिता वेंकटेशन से एक्सक्लूसिव बात की।
28-year-old Nandita Venkatesan is a passionate TB advocate. She is also a 2-time TB survivor who has permanently lost her hearing due to TB medication. She was invited by the United Nations high-level meeting on TB to share her story. Nandita tells us what her key messages were.
When I was asked to present my speech at the high-level meeting, I decided that I would like to highlight 3 key messages which I derived after conversations with several survivors. So the first message was that governments across the world must scale up the WHO recommendations. I mean, they should start following the WHO recommendations, which says that you must scale up the usage of newer drugs and stop or reduce the usage of injections, which are very painful. And an injection itself is the main culprit behind me losing my hearing. So that was my first message. The second message was that testing for drug resistance has to be done up front. Today that is not happening, which means that patients often end up eating a lot of unwanted pills which do more harm than good. So on one hand, these pills have such toxic side effects that you end up bearing these side effects, but you may not know whether it may work or not. That is because this testing for drug resistance has not been done, which to me frankly is borderline criminal negligence and which is unacceptable. So that was the second point. And the third aspect I highlighted was that mandatory counseling of TB patients, because the whole process of dealing with an illness like this is a very lonely process. So unless you have some form of hand-holding, counseling or guidance, only then would you have the motivation to take those pills and enter the finish line. So these were the 3 key messages I highlighted.
For the first time ever, world leaders came together at the United Nations to discuss the fight against tuberculosis. Though the meeting has spelled hope, the question is whether the words will be translated into actions on the ground. We are reporting from the United Nations in New York for GoNews 24/7.